Um, My name is Victoria. I am the head of support and onboarding for PunchPass, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about workshops and events and series. And we're going to get into some terminology in a moment. But I just wanted to welcome you all. As always with our webinars, we are going to be recording this and we will be posting it on our website. So if you have to jump out for any reason, you can always check it out, and we always send out the recording to anyone who signed up. So hopefully you'll get that. And if you do have any questions, you can reach out in the chat, and we will answer your questions at the end. And hopefully we'll get to a lot of questions that you might have today about what kind of special offerings you can add to your schedule beyond just your usual kind of like weekly regular classes. So when we're talking about these kind of special classes, special offerings, sometimes we get into like different terminology. We might say workshops, events, series, a course, and everyone might have their own terminology. For the most part, for our purposes, what we're going to talk about, we're going to say things like workshop or event to describe like a one class time. So it's just this one event at this one time on this one date. So we're going to think about that in kind of a singular sort of way. And then we'll say things like series, although I might use the word course as another example of how to handle a series to describe multiple class times. So what we're really looking at is something that's a little bit special. We're not running it on a recurring basis year round. It's supposed to be kind of, again, sort of a special thing that's happening on your schedule. It's not your average class. It's something that's providing a different kind of offering. And again, this could be a single class time, a singular workshop or event, or it might be a group of multiple class times where maybe for 6 weeks you're running this special series, and hopefully people will attend all of the different sessions in that series, all the different class times in that series. So that's how we're going to kind of be referring these to these moving forward. The good thing for you is that none of these words are really required for the customer facing side. You don't have to use any of these terminologies. They're not going to be on the customer facing view unless you title things that way. So you can use whatever kind of terminology with your customers that you would like. But for when you're, when we're talking, that's what we're going to use. So let's talk about why we might want to offer something a little different outside of our regular class times. It's potentially an opportunity to attract new customers. People might be a little nervous about signing up for a regular recurring weekly class because, oh, there's all these regulars probably there. Is this okay for me to do? Maybe they're not sure yet. And sometimes like an event where, it's supposed to be kind of a mixed crowd of people who are customers, or maybe people who've never come before, or coming from a different group, a customer group, might be a potential. It could also be something that you specifically set up, like ideally for new people to get comfortable at the studio. So, it kind of depends on what you're looking to do, but potentially to add new revenue here. It's also an opportunity to sort of elevate or expand your brand and perhaps increase expertise. So this could be by bringing in someone new. It could be by kind of deep diving into something that you already offer, but kind of at the next level. So there's different opportunities there. It's also just like something new and exciting. It could be something that, an instructor has a background in, but it doesn't really fit in the regular schedule. And here's an opportunity for them to show off this set of skills and give a new experience at your studio for your customers. Could also not be at your studio, could be at a different event location. And the idea would be setting up a new revenue stream. It's not as consistent and regular as your weekly classes, but it's something that you could offer at very different pricing that kind of, offers a different opportunity and might attract a different set of clients. So potential there. Now, when we're getting into what we're offering and what we might want to do, we definitely want to think about the content and how we can get it to sort of go above and beyond what we normally do. So we might want to look at, again, offering something that's sort of outside your general lane, just to make it a little bit more exciting. Again, I mentioned before, but like going into a real deep dive. So it could be like a real strong focus on some aspect of something you're already offering. So, we kind of hit the surface level of this here, and we're really going to focus a lot more on this in this workshop or series that you're offering. Some other things we could think about are ways to make it more social. So maybe your fitness classes are sort of intense and maybe there's chat and friendliness happening before or after the class, but maybe the event in particular is a little bit more socially focused. Could also be a little bit more about, recovery and relaxation and rest. So, yes, there's the fitness side of it, but then there's like the cool down, slow side of things, maybe more, mindfulness focused. You could also think about ways to offer takeaways. So whether that's a documentation that people can then use in their daily life, could also be like a giveaway or a raffle or something that they're going to, something physical that they're taking away as well. And of course, it's a really cool opportunity to maybe bring in somebody from outside your studio to come in and share their expertise and experience, because everyone, sometimes it's nice to see a new face. Sometimes it's nice to meet someone from a different area and who's bringing in just a different perspective. But the idea is that it's new content. It's something different that you do, which kind of generates that excitement, which should be what's happening anyway, because it's sort of a special event, right? It's a one-time thing, or we don't offer this course every couple of weeks. It's just happening in this particular month. So we're getting excited about it because this is an opportunity and you don't want to miss out. Some other things we can think about offering. There's so many different options out there. I'm sure that you've probably maybe you've offered some before, but we're just trying to brainstorm and come up with lots of different ideas here. It could be something to focus on mental health. If you do a lot of physical health things, maybe that mindfulness meditation opportunity might be something that could bring in a different crowd or focus on something in a different way. Could be more about like finding community. So again, that social aspect. You could also focus on, making an event for a particular group, for a particular community. So something like, maybe over a certain age or in a certain age range. Could also be, an event for like the BIPOC community or the LGBTQIA community, or like a smaller community within your community, and kind of have a focus on them. Could also look at things like healthy habits. Maybe we're focusing a lot on the fitness side of things, and bringing in a nutritionist in addition could be something that could be kind of cool, where that, again, other expertise can come in. We have a lot of studios actually in Punch Pass offering meditation, but it's kind of another side of that, focus on the rest and relaxation and restoration side of things. And then there's opportunity to get really specific, which can be really exciting. I think if you're going to focus on something where, when the customer hears about it, they're like, oh my gosh, I love that thing. That sounds like it's built for me. I know, people are always kind of get excited about different like artists. And maybe if you're doing like a cycling event and it's specifically focused on this particular kind of music, or this particular artist, that could be kind of cool. So again, could think about ways to get real specific and focus on a particular community or opportunity for your studio. And again, there's so many different ways you can offer these. It could be single workshops. There could be like mini meetings that happen online, or short get-togethers. This could be like a long weekend session where it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and long days. This could also be video. Doesn't have to be in person necessarily. You could do, Zoom, at the same time, so live Zoom, or it could be, again, a recording. Could be an event like a charity fundraiser, and we're looking at focusing on community and bringing people together and just getting yourself out there in a different way. I really highly recommend scheduling in some chatty time so that it's not, it's an opportunity again to build that community and get people to talk to each other, because maybe some of your regulars do come and then there's new people and now they're getting to talk. It's an opportunity to collaborate with someone, another business in your area. So their customers and your customers all get together and you have a bigger reach and outreach to your community. An opportunity to make it like a special for beginners, so newbies. You could also make it for people kind of returning. I think, something that maybe, hey, you might have done this activity as a kid, and now here's this opportunity for adults kind of get back into this particular habit. And yeah, I think giveaways are always really fun, especially at a special event, to kind of bring up the excitement, opportunity, whether everyone gets something out of going, or maybe there's a raffle or something. Another way to get people in the door. There's a couple other, kind of big things of finding out how to make this work for you. Big thing, of course, is pricing, figuring out what's the right pricing. You probably spent some time figuring out, like, okay, what is my drop-in price for a weekly class? What's a 5-class pass? What's a unlimited membership pricing that works for me? But when it comes to an event like this, you might be kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure, what should we do? And I think it's finding, kind of the good mix of, how long is the event? Is it going over the course of a month? Is it a one-day thing? And figuring out what might be a good fit. Industry-wise, there's a couple different things that come up. One of the things that I found in some research is that for events like this in the fitness world, people are looking for over 60% margin. So it's kind of like a weird way to think about it, but figuring out your costs ahead of time. How much is it going to cost to put on this event or this workshop? So like, what are you going to pay the instructor? Are you buying giveaway things? Are you providing other, do you have to rent space? Do you have to do anything, provide food? What is it that you're providing? And then kind of work it out from there. So like, for an example, if we're doing an event and we know our costs are $100, then we might be aiming to make about $300, which gives us around like 66% margin. So we can then kind of work backwards and say, okay, how many people are we aiming to have this event, or realistically have at this event? Figure out your per person pricing from there. So that's just some industry guidance that we've received. Obviously, everyone's different, and you want to kind of make the best decision for your area. Geographically, different people are going to be charging different things in your area. So you might also want to check out what your competition is doing, or see if someone's held a similar event, just to get a sense of that. Figuring out the timing for your event is also kind of something to sort of keep in mind. If you're doing something for beginners, for example, you might not want to do like a 4-month series for beginners. That just seems like a lot to commit to. But maybe a 4-week event is like something like, okay, I could commit to this for about a month. That feels like I can do that, right? So if you're doing a series for a particular type of person, you might say, hey, maybe let's keep this doable in terms of the commitment. Or if you're doing like a full day event, I'm gonna make sure you factor in like breaks and food, and does that seem like something people can do all day? Is there enough to offer? So figuring out kind of what feels good. But I mean, weekends are definitely a potential big opportunity for events, because that's when people are not, ideally not working and available to take some classes. And then managing this, what we're going to get into next is really how you can set these up and handle them on your platform. And in this case, platform's PunchPass. So we hope we can show you a lot of different ways to make these kinds of events work for you. So let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and access my account here. So the first thing we're going to do is set up a workshop. Again, in PunchPass, we don't really have like a very specific workshop feature. We're still going to be working with the class functionality. But I think it's kind of nice, because you've already done pretty much this process before, but just maybe not in this way, or for this particular offering. So we're going to go ahead and go to manage classes. And now again, you may have already set up your event here, your class type, but we're going to go ahead and set up a new one together. So in this example, we're setting up a special event at a winery, Vino and Vinyasa workshop here, where we've partnered with a local winery, and we're going to do a Vinyasa yoga class at the location. And then we're also going to, include people are getting a wine tasting or something along those lines. Been to one of these myself. They're pretty fun. So you can set up your class name. You kind of go through the general steps you would, setting up a class, right? You can add your class description, set the time, whatever general information about this event you'd like to have, same like you're setting up a class. So we'll do an email reminder. We might want to set a limit, we might have figured out, we can only support, 20 people for this event, and maybe we'll allow a wait list. So you can set up your reservation settings the same way you would for any other class. And we'll go ahead and click save. So we've created the class. Now we just have to create the one-time event. So normally you might set up weekly, events by clicking on manage the schedule, and you set up like a weekly class. But here we're going to go ahead and scroll down and click on add a one-time class. So we can set up, this is the class. We can select the instructor, location. I'll talk about that in a moment because I've already added mine, but I'll show you where that is, and set the date and the time and add the class. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for us here. Schedule our event. I'll do this Saturday. Fun. Okay. So we'll schedule it, add the class, go. And if I click on my schedule, here we go. It's here for Saturday. Now, you can also, if you've already created the class, you can create the class time from your schedule by clicking on the 3 dots next to the date, click add a single time, or up here, add a single class. You can go through very same steps. If for an event you ever need to add a location, like a special location, that's under your public schedule settings. Scroll down and here we have manage locations. So that's really all you need to do for the first part, is setting up the class and the class time on your schedule for your event. Now I want to go back in here to talk about some pricing things, because we like to give you a lot of options at PunchPass. We know that there's, all different kinds of studios offer all different kinds of pricing and have, ways that they want their customers to interact with their schedule. So I just wanted to show you, that we have different offerings when it comes to pricing when people are purchasing something online. So we have our pass option and we have our ticket option. With a pass, when people go to book into the class and they need to purchase, you can list and have listed multiple passes, multiple options. So if you have very different pricing tiers, for example, like where you have a student price and a regular price or something along those lines, a pass might be nice because you can kind of set those up and let people decide. You can also include multiple credits in a pass here. So for example, if you run workshops all the time and they're the same price and you want to encourage people like, oh, hey, if you buy 3 workshops, you get this kind of discount. So having multiple credits on a pass could work. That might work for you. And passes are kind of nice because, if you're in a situation where someone purchases it and they're like, oh, actually, I want to take this event or go to this class instead, passes are pretty easily transferable and nice to use there. Tickets, on the other hand, are like super simple. Set up the price. It's a one-time purchase. It's really convenient for new customers because they don't have to, there's not any potential confusion on how to purchase. It's just like, it's right in front of you, and I will show you in a moment. And you can even set up with tickets to not have a login required. So if you're doing the pass feature, then you're going to really require people, to have a pass in order to purchase or in order to book. And it's going to kind of prompt them, to log in and make sure that they have a credit. But with a ticket, purchasing and booking at the same time, really nice and simple. So kind of depends on what your priorities are, but I'm going to show you both. So here we have our Vinyasa class, but we're going to go into the class settings. And if you use PunchPass, you probably may have seen this feature. You've certainly seen some of these features. But here we have under Vino and Vinyasa, enable tickets. So clicking into class, and we have the option to enable tickets. All we have to do is set the price. So how much is it for this event? Say it's $40 here. Give you some information about ticketing, letting you know how this works, and what it means. And we'll go ahead and click save. One of the big things you'll notice is that the eligible passes list doesn't get changed when you set up a ticket. So if you only want to accept the ticket, you really want to check and make sure that you decide which passes are eligible and not. So you might want to make it eligible for other passes, but here we're just going to do the ticket price. Save. And there we go. So I'm going to switch to our customer view, just right in the top here, just to show you what we have available. So here's our class, Vino and Vinyasa, and for ticket, it just looks like an event, right? Here's the price, here's how you book and pay. You just got to click on purchase the ticket. So that's pretty easy to do. And as you can imagine, it's not very many barriers. There's not really any choices. They're just, I book and pay. Now, if you want to give people different options, go back into classes here. So for example, we might want to say, hey, instead of tickets, I'm going to go ahead and disable that. We might want to have a specific pass, or so we'll go to manage passes and set up a new pass. So maybe this is we always have a workshop fee for, students, and this will be our student price. Set it to sell online for a one-day event, right? We're thinking punch card, 1 credit, makes sense to me. And we can set the price, and maybe it's a different price than our regular pass, and we'll set up 2 and kind of give you different options. What's also kind of cool with the pass feature is if you're offering passes by donation, you can set a minimum and a maximum. People can select their price, but we'll go ahead and adjust the eligibility here and click save. And I'm going to do the same thing, just create another one just to show you that we've got different options. We're in different options. So maybe this is our regular price. And again, we'll set that up. Save. So now we go to our customer view, and we go to check out the class. So here's where like the choice option comes up. So if you're doing passes, you could list different options, and they can say, oh, well, I'm going to pay the workshop fee. Excuse me. So it's a little different, right? You can kind of see, but it's really about getting people to pay up front for the event. And either way works. It's just going to depend on how you kind of want to, how you kind of want to offer your pricing and what makes sense to you for your customers. All right. And I think from here, I did that. So we're going to jump right in and talk about series. Series in PunchPass. Sometimes there's a lot of decisions you got to make, but once you kind of walk through it the first time, I think it ends up making a lot more sense. So we're going to just jump right back into the app and play around. So go back to our admin view. And now for this example, I did set up a class already and some class times. That's the first thing you want to do when you're setting up a series. You want to have a class. This time we're doing our intro to salsa class. And we want to make sure we set up some class times. So for this example, I've set up for the month of August on Sundays, we have a class at 10 a.m. Once we set up a class and class times, this option is going to populate where it says create a series for this class. So from here, the first thing you're going to do when you're setting up a series in this part is select the class times. So we go into the class, we've created the class times. Now we're just linking them together. So we're going to grab all of these Sundays in August. Perfect. Down to step 2. What are we going to call it? So this could be, we could call it the same thing as the class, call it something different. Salsa series is what I'm going to call ours. Great. You can include a series description. So what are they going to see when they're going to book? So any kind of details you want to include about the class, you can put here. You can always edit this on your way back. It's kind of cool for like a series event is we have the option to set a start date and open registration. You can set a start date and a start time. So maybe like the first of the month at noon, you can sign up for this event, for the series here. And that's pretty cool. But you also don't have to do that. We're going to leave registration open. Other registration features we have are you can close it. So once the series starts, you can say no one else can book. So you can't like kind of like come in halfway. And then another feature is the option to allow individual reservations for the series sessions. So if I have these 4 Sundays, do I want to allow someone to book just one or book into 2 and not the full group? So it depends again on how you're offering your series and what you'd like to, you know, have expectations for it. So really up to you. Now I'm going to ignore the payment feature at the moment. We'll get back to that. And once we just kind of set up the series, so I'm going to go ahead and click save. So what's great is we have a link directly to our series. If we scroll down, we'll see classes that are listed. If I click into a class from the admin side, if I want to book for somebody else, I have the option to book whole series or individual. From the customer point of view, if we go, I'm going to go to our, let's find it here. You'll see that it's not only is it series, but we let you know 104, 204, 304. So you can kind of see that it's series here. And when we click into it, we let you know all of the class times that you're booking for. So opportunity to just book it at this one time, book into all the class series. That was pretty neat. So similar to the workshop and doing, you know, a class or a ticket, have the same a pass or a ticket. We have the same situation with series. You have the option to offer a pass or a ticket. So you can link to a single pass with the series. That pass, you'll probably want to have multiple credits. I recommend if you're setting up a pass for a series, you have 4 classes in the series, 4 credits for the pass. What's kind of nice again with passes that they're pretty transferable. So, you know, if a lot of my customers are kind of like, oh, you know, I'm going to book, but then I can't go to that one. So could I do a makeup session or like, you know, could that pay for a different class? And with passes, it's pretty easy to kind of handle that. And the other kind of nice thing, which I'll show you in a moment, is that if people usually go to your purchase a pass page, your pass can be listed here for this series and prompt them to book and pay. So if you like having it on that page, pass feature might be nice for you. Tickets, again, it's kind of like the ease. They're like pretty simple. You set the price and they have to pay it. And it's pretty nice, again, for new customers, people signing in. Again, you don't necessarily have to require a login when you're offering a ticket option. So that can be kind of nice. But let's show you how to set it up. Back into the system, go to the admin view. All right, so the first one I'll show you is tickets. So we're going to go back into our classes, and now you'll see here's our active series list. You can see the series, the class it's based on, start date, and we'll click onto our series, and we're going to go ahead and click edit. Oh, wait, actually, no, we want to enable tickets. We're doing tickets first, right here, just like for the class, but this time it's a series. It is going to apply to all of the sessions, so it's not a one-to-one. It's here's the amount, and it's going to cover the whole series. So, you know, you can set that amount. And that's pretty much all you have to do is always for tickets, you kind of set the amount and hit save. And that's pretty cool. Now, you can set up tickets and still accept passes. So you can really set the eligibility however you like. Again, you might want to have it be eligible, or you can say, nope, no passes, just the ticket. That's all we want. Go to the customer view. And we'll go back to our series just to show you. It's going to look simple. Purchase the ticket. Here's the price. Here you go. So again, ticket feature, pretty straightforward. For the pass feature, a little different. Let me go ahead and see. I don't know if we have a pass set up or not. I don't think I do. So we're going to set up the pass real quick. And we'll just get down to some series pass. Set it to sell online. Now this is again where you're going to want to make sure we're lining up the punch card credits. So 4 classes in the series. I'm going to make 4. Again, this can be opportunity if you want to do the donation based or set the price. And decide what it's eligible for. Salsa. Great. Hit save. Go into our classes. Here's our series. And this time I'm going to disable the tickets. I'm going to edit the series. And we have the option here to link the session with a specific pass. So this is where I'm setting up and saying, great, I want to link it to this pass. And now you're going to see from the customer view, from the schedule, it doesn't look very different, which is kind of nice. Kind of this part, we make it super simple for your customers. Their experience can be very similar. Series cost, here we go, purchase the series. The one difference, or the big difference here, is this will also be listed under your purchase a pass page. So if I scroll down here, we have our intro to Salsa Series Pass. And for series, if you link a pass to a series, it's going to say, if you want to purchase, you have to book into the series. So it kind of directs you from the purchase a pass page into the series to book and pay. So that's kind of a process from the customer side that might direct you to whether you feel like you want to do a pass or you want to do a ticket. And hopefully that makes sense. We just really wanted to make it super flexible. We have lots of people who can use a system in a lot of different ways for different types of customers. And whatever you think is going to work best for your customers, probably the direction you want to go in. However, should you be like looking at these options, I'm like, I don't know, they both sound great, I'm not really sure, no problem. Because if you're not sure what's going to fit your particular event, we've got a whole team of people who are here to help you. You can email us, support@punchpass.com. You can schedule a call with us. We'll jump on Zoom and we will walk through setting it up. We can, or just review what you already did set up and talk through it. We can show you what it looks like on the customer side. We can look at it from the admin side and make sure it's a good fit. You can use our chat tool, either up at the top, clicking support, or the homepage on the bottom right-hand corner. There's our little chat tool, reach out, because our team is here to help out. And it doesn't have to be just like, oh, I found a problem. It can be, oh, I don't want there to be a problem. So I want to be proactive, have someone look at it, have someone walk through it with me. Our team would be so happy to help out with this. So if you have any questions, if you're about to offer this and you're like, I'm not really sure, jump on a call with us. We would be so happy to talk it out and figure out what's going to be the right fit. So don't hesitate to use the support system at PunchPass, because we're here to help make sure the system's working for you. Now, once we do set it up, couple things to kind of help out along the terms of like getting people in the studio or, at the event. Talk marketing, let's get the word out. One of the things that's great is from either class or a series, the public URL is something you can copy and share, and people can click on it. You can link to it from your website. You can include it in your social media links, just so that people can easily access it. And again, you can grab that from, from a series or from your class page. Definitely a good idea if you're using a website to go ahead and update it and include something about the event or the series. Let people know. Post something on social media. We've seen some of our PunchPass users get really into like promoting things and using their own custom graphics and whatever they want to use, but it doesn't have to be, super expensive or something you spend money on. In that sense, it can just be something that you like put out there and remind people about, hey, we're doing this event on this date. If you're running a Facebook account for your business, you can add events to your page. So you can kind of promote that and have people share it and say they're going to attend on there, and kind of get an idea. You can also target emails to your customers. So from the reports page in PunchPass, it's really easy to kind of pull specific groups of your customers to email. So for instance, if it's an event run by one of your instructors, you might want to reach out to the people who've taken classes with them. So we can pull up, attendances and email just people who've attended with that particular instructor and say, hey, our instructor Sunny is running this event this Saturday or, in August, and you might want to check it out. So that's something that you can do, again, pulling from your reports to send targeted emails to different groups. Anytime it's, you have unlimited emails within PunchPass. So feel free to use them for some marketing. And I always think it's important to consider directing your instructors to talk about what's going on at the studio or what things are coming up, even if it's not related to their particular class. Everyone can kind of share what's going on in your community. So, just having an announcement either the beginning or end of class. I think beginning's a little better if people are a little less tired and maybe open to taking in new information at the beginning of class. It's my 2 cents as a dance instructor, but I like to, let people know about events at the beginning of my classes. Again, even if they're not related to something I'm doing, it's cool to say, hey, here's what our studio is doing, or this instructor who's amazing, you should check out their stuff. And here's an opportunity to get a special event with them. Kind of just market to your customers as well as, who you have outreach to on social media and from your website. And another kind of cool opportunity here, totally depending on what kind of offering you're looking at, but especially if you're doing something online, even if it's, online via Zoom and you're recording it, is to, record that content and resell it. You can upload videos or PDF documents to your content library. You can link them to a pass and sell that pass. It could be, any of your passes or memberships can be linked to content collections. So you can set up a collection or like folder of content, videos, PDFs, whatever from that workshop or event. And then you can create a pass and sell it and say, yep, we're going to say, not only could you go to the live event or attend this live, we also have a version of it that's recorded, and you can take the content that you've made and make it available to continue to hopefully bring in some revenue. You might want to consider your pricing a little differently. It's probably a little different doing it live versus recording, but it's a cool opportunity. And even with recordings, you can have them spread out. So if I sign up for like this, course recording, you can have the content come out, on a weekly basis or on certain days, this new video is available to you. So you can still kind of spread it out like a series, even if it's recorded. So it's a lot of information. I know, again, we record all of these, so if you ever want to come back to it, you can. But if anything sparked anything, any kind of questions or any ideas, and this is the opportunity, I'm here, I'm ready to chat, come up with ideas with you. So feel free to use the chat, and I'll give you a couple minutes to write anything in. If you have any thoughts, questions, be happy to show you some other things if you want to talk. Also totally fine if you're like taking it all in, nothing's coming to mind in terms of questions, that's okay. again, if you have questions for us, if anything else comes up, or maybe you're watching this recording and you're like, I have this burning question, I really need to talk to somebody, and reach out to us in the chat, email us support@punchpass.com. You can always set up a call. We'd love to help out. If anything ever comes up, we're here to help. And if you're sitting here saying, what can I do? How can I make this work for me? We'd love to help you figure that out. We're here to chat. So if there's no questions, looks like we're doing good. So thank you all so much for jumping on and joining us for the webinar today. Hope you learned something about how to offer workshops and series with PunchPass, and kind of hopefully maybe some of these ideas will start percolating, and you'll have some ideas about maybe what you're going to bring to your studio in the next season. And as always, reach out if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm Victoria, and I hope to see you at our next webinar next month.